Hey everyone, MatPat here, and welcome to Like and Describe, YouTube's official trends podcast, bringing you the little-known stories behind some of the biggest trends. As you can see, I'm not in my home studio today. In this episode, we're actually taping it live here at VidCon in front of a packed house of fans. How's everyone feeling today? Today's episode is going to be a feast through the ultimate comfort food content trend here on YouTube, and that's mukbangs. Those unmistakable videos where creators invite their viewers to watch them enjoy a meal on camera. It could be a simple bowl of ramen. It could be as extreme as eating an entire menu of food from your favorite restaurant. And honestly, it could be anything in between. By engaging many of our senses through ASMR, what started as this early niche form of sensory stimulation has proved to be irresistible to the world, and it's helped redefine mainstream entertainment. We're gonna be making our way through the 4 key stages of mukbangs, the history of mukbangs, if you will, and how it's become this impactful, long-lasting trend, influencing everything from ASMR content on YouTube to modern foodie interview shows. This is basically like the VidCon equivalent of an Eras tour. Yeah, right? Except less conversations about breaking up with your boyfriend and more focus on eating like sushi in large quantities. Basically the same thing, right? Yeah, hearts. Obviously, we need a couple other guests, right? We have a table set up here with a whole lot of other food items ready to be consumed. So let's invite a panel of creators who are known for their mukbang content. They're the veritable mukbang masters. These creators aren't just eating food, they're reshaping the content game. From how ASMR is incorporated into food challenges to exposing the world to brand new foods that they've never tried before. These creators are the essence of what makes mukbang, mukbang. So, you guys ready to meet our guests? First up, we have a mukbang legend who brings the heat to every video, creating spicy food challenges and delectable mukbangs for every cuisine. She's an ASMR expert and has a passion for all things food. Please welcome the creator and host of Eat Spicy with Tea, Tiffany. Next up, we have a mukbang veteran creating since 2016. She currently has more than 295 million views under her belt. She's not just a foodie, she is a sensation. Please welcome Hyuni Kim, aka Hyuni Eats. And rounding out our panel of esteemed eaters, give a big VidCon welcome to the culinary wizard himself, none other than Josh Scherer. As an OG YouTube creator and the mastermind behind Mythical Kitchen, he's not just cooking up a storm, he's creating a culinary universe, delighting taste buds since 2014.
Beautifully said. And also beautiful people. Welcome, VidCon. What's
There's
up?
a lot of people who are very eager to watch you eat, guys. Also, you'll notice at this point, we can't just have a bunch of creators here talking about mukbang without engaging in a mukbang themselves. So obviously, in front of all you guys, we have a pre-prepared meal that we'll be engaging with as we progress through the eras of mukbang. Sound like a plan? Good? We're all good?
Good.
So, with that being said, let's start off our eras tour with the origins of mukbang. If you could, please reveal dish number 1.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
My favorite.
Because who doesn't want a hot bowl of ramen on a Southern California day, right?
I will say a hot bowl of soup actually cools you down scientifically on a hot day because it triggers your body's natural cooling responses.
No, actually. Who are you, me? That's the thing that I would say as the obnoxious know-it-all guy.
We're going to merge into one person by the end of this.
Right, exactly. Also, I want to do a special shout out to the Salvation Army, who's going to be accepting all the leftover untouched food at the end of our feast today. So shout outs to them, Salvation Army. Okay, so I don't want to hold you guys up. If you would, please feel free to start digging in. Now, if this was your home sets, or if this was the content that you yourself were making, how would you prepare your ramen?
For me, I like to put 2 cups of water and then put in all the flakes first before the noodles. So then the broth kind of like comes to a boil. You get more flavor, and then put your ramen and then your soup base.
Yeah. How about you, Tiffany?
So for me, I add some fish sauce, some spicy chili flakes, any sauce that's red because it's spicy, and more spice, and that's it.
It's spice, and more spice?
Yes.
So I gotta ask, how does the VidCon prepared ramen compare to maybe your ideal bowl of ramen?
I think it's really great, man. You got the roasted shiitake mushrooms on here. This is a
Yes.
gorgeous bowl of food. This is proper.
So Era 1, basically, we had YouTube's research teams dig through the entire history of food videos on YouTube, and they actually date back as early as 2006. Which is kind of crazy, right? Like that's forever ago. Those were the first instances of creators eating food on camera. Some of the clips were set to music. Other of the clips were more focused on the ASMR of the eating sounds as they were consuming the food. But it's worth noting that because this was 2006, the word mukbang, the word ASMR, those weren't things in the cultural vernacular yet. They weren't appearing in titles and thumbnails, and yet this was the earliest days of food and mukbang specific content on YouTube. Which brings the question, obviously you guys weren't necessarily Era 1 creators, but do you remember watching any of those videos in the early days? Tiffany, what got you interested in the world of mukbang?
So I had just had a baby, and I used to be at home watching mukbangs all the time. I was interested in the flavors of the foods that they were eating. I wanted to know where they got it from, and I found a place. And then I found myself going to this place all the time. And so I'm like, why don't I just make mukbangs myself? And so I did.
Nice. Uni, how about you?
For me, I used to watch live streams when it was popular in Korea, and this was when I was actually on the Beyonce diet, and it helped me curb my cravings. And then I started watching other spicy food videos, and I was like, you know what? Screw this diet. I'm gonna start eating. And I used to eat a lot when I was little. So then I also came across Kimi, one of the first English mukbangs. And I was like, I love food, and why don't I try this? And that's how I started my mukbang channel.
Incredible. And Josh, obviously you are not a mukbang creator yourself, but do you remember kind of your first introduction to this world? Like when were you first exposed to it, or do you remember your first video that you saw?
I actually do remember the first mukbang video that I saw, and it was because of one of my best friends, and he would show us, you know, we'd be in our college apartment, and he'd just pull up all these K-pop YouTube videos, and then he was talking about a dish called kanjang kejang, the raw marinated crab, and I didn't know what it was, and he pulled up a mukbang video, and I was like, what is this? They're just sitting there and eating large piles of delicious-looking food? How do I get that job? And now I'm at least mukbang adjacent a little bit. But that was the first time I saw it and never went back.
What do you guys think makes a mukbang video so addictive? What is the appeal of watching someone else eat on camera for extended periods of time?
For me, I think it's just based on what I used to be attracted to when I watch mukbangs. I think it's the aesthetics, maybe the setup, maybe how grand the food looks, the expressions that the creators are making, the entertainment of the interaction with the foods.
For me, I feel like the creators are like my friends, and I also feel like my viewers are like my friends. So it's like interacting with your friend every day, kind of reading all the comments and just making videos for your viewers.
All right, have you gotten your fill of the ramen so far? Are you ready to move on to era number 2?
Yes.
Okay, so if you could replace your dishes, my friends.
Yes, sir.
All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1, reveal.
Oh, hell yeah, now we're talking.
In honor of the trend's origins, we had to bring in one of South Korea's most popular dishes, bibimbap. So please feel free to dig in.
You have to mix this. Bibim means mixed. So you're supposed to mix all the ingredients in here.
It's literally overflowing, so if it spills off onto the table, it's okay.
This rips, dude. I'm having a great time. Eating kimchi in front of hundreds of people, like, yeah, what could be better? This is great. Give it up, everybody. Give it up for yourselves.
I wish I could give you guys a bite too.
At this point during the Eras tour, we're moving on to Era 2, and this is taking place around 2013. This is where we see South Korean food creators consistently using the term mukbang in their uploads. And so far, it is mostly a regional trend contained to South Korea. So, quick question for everyone here in the room, do you know what mukbang actually translates to roughly? Ready? I'm gonna give you 4 options. Ready? So, who thinks it's bite watch? Don't be shy. Okay, couple, like 6 people over here, 2 over there, perfect. Shout out if you think it means chewing clips. One guy who's very confident right down the center. Well done. Who wants to say that it's a swallow stream or a swallowing stream? Okay, a little bit more, definitely kind of a horseshoe pattern it formed here in the room. And who thinks it's eating broadcast or like an eat cast? You are correct. Congratulations. It is, in fact, the eat cast. Hyuni, why do you think that this trend started in South Korea, of all places? What is it about South Korea or its culture that helped to spread and popularize this food-centric content?
So I was telling T earlier, in Korea, a lot of people take the transit. So a lot of people have time to watch stuff on their phones, and I think that's why live streaming mukbang works so well in Korea. And also, a lot of Koreans are single family Koreans, and the birth rate is on the decrease right now. So a lot of people feel lonely, so they want to watch and eat together with people, and I think that's why it originated from South Korea.
So it kind of fills a social need that
Right.
people have where it's kind of sad or lonesome to eat on your own. And so being able to sit down with a phone in front of you and actually like watch or eat alongside someone else is comforting. You have a social relationship with that person.
Yeah. Like, I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys watch videos when you guys eat?
A lot of people, yep.
And would you feel less lonely watching someone else eat while you're eating too? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, it just works out perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know who some of those early South Korean trailblazers of the format were?
Benzi? In Korean, you say benzi, but it's bands in English. He was like the first one I watched.
Were there a couple of, and this is for any of you who can answer this one, were there any classic videos that set the trend of mukbang back in the day? Like these were the mukbang videos that got the like millions of views, or the ones that kind of circulated around the internet at that time?
I would say fire noodle videos.
Yeah, I've got a real strong fire noodle
Yes.
fan in the second row right here. For the sake of everyone who is not that one person in row number 2, what exactly is a fire noodle? I think, Tiff, you're a good one to answer this one.
So fire noodles are super spicy noodles. It comes with a sauce, a red thick sauce that you put in your noodles. You can stir fry them, or they have like stew types. But the point of them is that it's very spicy.
And I think there's capsaicin in it a little bit, but
Sure.
it's made by a Korean company. And it's really addicting. If you guys have tried it, you guys know how addicting it is. I'm addicted to it.
So at this point in time, mukbang videos are popping up all across South Korea, right? So much so that mainstream Korean media companies actually start producing mukbang content of their very own. Major TV channels in South Korea like MBC, SBS, JTBC, they all start featuring their own versions of mukbang videos. And for those of you who might not be in the weeds about South Korean television, that would be basically the equivalent of NBC, CBS, and HBO making their own versions of mukbang videos, which is crazy. This was the era where mukbang started to be popularized and used across the board. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the world, where the food scene was at this point, was actually more oriented around food challenges. I'm curious now to the experts here in the room, how would you define the difference between a food challenge, which sometimes involves eating large quantities of food very quickly, versus a mukbang? Like, where does that difference settle?
So a food challenge is to test your limits, right? You could test how much you can eat, how spicy you can eat, how fast you can eat. Meanwhile, a mukbang is more, it's supposed to be relaxing, calm, enjoying a conversation while having something that you like, or trying to watch whoever you like. So that's just a mukbang. It's supposed to be zen.
For me, I do challenge videos, and I do a lot of challenge videos where it's like eating mala spicy fire noodles in 10 minutes. Whereas mukbang videos, I'm more engaging, and I'm telling my viewers about my life or any popular topic that's going on.
Which honestly brings me to a question. How are you managing your health doing this on a regular basis? Are you constantly exercising away the calories? Are you portioning out the amount that you eat relative to kind of your nutritional quotient for the day? Like, how do you strike that balance as a content creator who is known for eating a diverse quantity and large quantity of food on a regular basis?
So I used to do more challenge videos when I first started doing mukbangs, and I did intermittent fasting where you eat basically once a day. And I also have 2 huskies who are basically my personal trainers.
Give it up for Huskies, everyone.
Yes. So I walk them twice a day, like 5 to 10 miles, and also work out a lot.
Wow.
So for me, I put a gym in my home so that I have the accessibility to getting my health right for the day. So I do 4 miles in the morning, and then I weightlift in the evening. I also limit myself to 2 videos per week so that I have control in how much calories I'm consuming on a weekly basis.
T, I've watched a lot of your videos. You're out there eating for gains. Like those seafood boils, you're getting like 150 grams of protein. That's solid.
So, and that's another thing. I try to stay away from fast food. It's not really my thing. I make sure that I cook my own foods. So I control my sodiums, I control my fats. So my butter sauce, guys, it's some butter, but it's like a lot of blended garlic and onions and fillers. So I'm mindful of what I'm eating. I'm also mindful of, making sure that the audience is interested in the appearance of the food and just the overall experience.
Absolutely. Now you talk about the appearance and you talk about the preparation.
Yes.
One last thing I think that's important to talk about is the ASMR aspect of this. How important is it to have the sounds of the eating in a mukbang video?
So for a channel like mine who incorporates some ASMR into mukbangs, maybe 70% important, because I have a split audience. So some people come to my channel for just the sounds. Some might want to see the food. I try to create a relaxing experience for my audience. So the sound is important, but there's other things too.
No, absolutely. And thank you for that, which now brings us to era number 3, and this is the global expansion of mukbang, as well as the inclusion of ASMR as a focus point in the mukbang community. So while they are getting changed over on their food course, if all of you could do me a favor and pull out those bag of chips. There we go. Now's the time to hold them above your head. Thank you all very much. So the goal of this next brief little segment is to create what I hope to be the loudest ASMR mukbang ever done live.
Yes.
Right? You think we could do that? Think we can do that? Okay. You may now open your bags. Give me a thumbs up when the bags are open. Excellent. Very good. If you guys could please reveal your next dish in 3, 2, and 1. We have decided, in an effort to make the loudest ASMR mukbang out there in the world, we have given you the crunchiest, crispiest food that we could find, which is crispy rice biscuits. Reach into your bag, grab a chip.
I guess we'll start with this.
I'm going to count us all in on 3, 2, bite, and then I want us all to bite simultaneously, okay? And we're going to try to make it the loudest crunch possible. Ready? 3, 2, bite! I felt it. The decibels were up. Give yourself a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now, obviously, that's very different from your typical ASMR video. That is not us doing like a brief second of ASMR. Josh is showing off his moves there. Well done. Earlier, I was saying that most mukbangs were uploaded in South Korea around 2013, right? But by 2015, creators outside of South Korea started going viral with their own personal mukbang videos, mostly with ASMR and mukbang tied together as one combined unit. Josh, I gotta ask, what do you remember about first interacting with food and ASMR related content?
I believe the first food ASMR video I watched, it was with Nigerian food. Which, when you're talking about global expansion of mukbang, one thing that I love about it is it's cultural exchange, right? That's why I love food. It's just you're learning about people, you're learning about cultures, and especially something that's so underrepresented, like Nigerian food. To see all these like very unique textures with like the fufu and the various swallows, and a lot of people, I think you see something slightly unfamiliar in a mukbang video and somebody eating it in such an accessible, intimate fashion, and it hooks you in and it draws you there. And also, Nigerian food is very slurpable in a way that I love. A lot of meat on the bone, a lot of very thick stews and soups. And so there's a lot of just like, in a way that I find very pleasant. And so I think that was my first experience.
I gotta ask, for our mukbang creators, is there a food that you've ever tried that hasn't worked? Or something that you thought might be a big hit with your audience, but maybe didn't resonate as well as you would have expected?
I think every mukbanger has their own niche. Like for me, it's spicy food and noodles. So if I do anything outside of that, I don't get as many views. So like for you, what do you think your niche is?
I think mine is seafood.
I have a question. What are the most unique mukbang niches that you've seen on YouTube? Like any other creators that only have one specific type of food and it's something outside of the norm that we'd see?
I've seen someone eat bugs,
Okay.
like roaches.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, that would give a big ASMR crunch,
Yes.
I would say.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
be thankful that we didn't give you a bag full of cockroaches, guys.
I have deep fried and eaten a cockroach for fun.
Who hasn't,
It's
honestly?
just
Like,
a
you're just
land
preaching to the
shrimp,
choir.
Matt.
You mentioned earlier, Josh, the interesting or unusual foods from different cultures that you might not have been exposed to without the lens of mukbang. And you mentioned some specific cultures. Are there any other ones that kind of come to mind as like, oh, this was interesting and made accessible to me through the lens of mukbang?
I also just love crustaceans. I love seafood boils, but we normally eat, crab, shrimp, lobster, maybe clams, mussels, but there's such an incredible diversity of delightful sea critters out there to eat, and especially in different countries. I remember watching people eating giant river oysters that I'd never seen in my life before, people eating barnacles out there, giant limpets, which are like a sea snail. That has been my favorite genre of mukbang, and I love to watch it.
So, Tiffany, I'm curious. We talked earlier about the social element of mukbang, right? And the ability for watching a mukbang video to fill maybe a loneliness or a companionship need in people's lives, right? Do you hear about that from your subscribers? Do they send you any messages, or do you see that in the comments? How that's kind of playing into their lives?
Yes, so at the end of my videos, I dedicate sharing my day, sharing something that I've overcome for the week, or just a big obstacle that I've overcome in general. And sometimes I say something motivational just to get some people through the week, because a lot of my viewers will come and they'll tell me what struggles they're going through. And that's one of my favorite part of creating content, is not only connecting through food, but connecting through struggles or joy or whatever it is that we might be going through, because it shows us that all of us are so similar and that our lives are not that different.
How has this career path influenced your relationship with meals that aren't content driven? Has it changed the way that you approach meals by yourself or meals with a family?
It hasn't changed how I interact off camera, but when I'm on camera, there's a difference. The way how I think about food has changed.
Mm-hmm. CUNY, how about you?
Same with me. I do think about how delicious I want to look in front of the camera, because I learned through my videos that it also helped a lot of cancer patients because they lose appetite. So by watching mukbang videos, they told me that it's helped them with their appetite a lot. And so I do emphasize a little more when I'm filming than when I'm off the camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite the fact that we have never really made a proper mukbang video on Mythical Kitchen, we did have this incredible experience where one year during Thanksgiving, I decided that I would eat a full 5-course Thanksgiving feast. And in an act of improv comedy, I had a fake conversation with a hypothetical family that was around me.
So I feel very at home, so thank you.
And I just did this for 30 minutes uncut. We just uploaded it. It was called Eat Thanksgiving with Josh. And we got so many comments from people that were like, I broke down crying watching this video because I don't have anybody to eat Thanksgiving dinner with this year for the first time in 10 years, and you made me feel not alone. And that was the first time that I really understood this power. I mean, it was effectively a mukbang. I just didn't know that name for it. And it was kind of really incredible and really sweet, and actually a big lesson learned in how to really connect with somebody.
Mm-hmm. I mean, food is such a personal thing, right? It is. You mentioned it earlier. It's an intimacy thing. You are sitting down, you're making yourself vulnerable. It's a personal expression in a lot of ways. So being able to connect with people through the lens of food is tremendously powerful. Which brings us to the final era. We are going to era number 4, a final dish for our panel that really incorporates all the elements that we've talked about today, which is everything from the globalization of mukbangs to the satisfying ASMR crunching sounds that we've had. We've got for you today, reveal, some fried chicken, my friends. So
All right, where's the hot sauce? Now we really need the hot sauce.
I was told that you would be presented with hot sauce.
There is right here.
Oh, there, yeah, it's right there for you? Great. Okay, feel free to dig in, my friends. One of the recent twists that's been happening on YouTube right now, and the kind of future of mukbang content, is actually animated mukbangs. I don't know if any of you have seen these. We'll talk about it in a second. But basically, this is a fusion of animated characters eating food. They're showcasing fictional characters indulging in consuming fictional foods, which is wild. It is a whole new form of entertainment, and it fuses the rise of indie animation, which we're seeing through the likes of the Has-Been Hotels of the world, the amazing digital circuses of the world. And they're fusing it together with this trend of mukbang, which has been around, as we learned, since 2006. So I'm curious, Tiffany or Hyuni, do you have any thoughts on this? Like, is an animated mukbang still a mukbang?
Creators in other spaces are noticing that mukbang's trend because all of us have a connection to food. And so it just makes sense that incorporating food and mukbangs to other spaces will work. But I think it's still a mukbang.
I feel like it's more of ASMR because mukbang is more engaging with your viewers. For me. I mean, there's different types of mukbangs, but I did watch some of the animated mukbangs, and I like watching it because it's so cute, and the sounds like are so crisp.
Yeah, so maybe it's engaging a different part or a
Yes.
different element of it. Maybe you're getting less of the social element, but you're still getting the ASMR satisfaction.
Right.
As experts in food and in this content trend, what is next for mukbang? What does the future of this world look like?
So I can see a lot of different genres incorporated in mukbangs, maybe on a smaller scale, in short form, even long form. But it makes sense from a creator's point of view that using something that is easily connectable to a whole bunch of people will go to other genre because the goal is to reach as many people as you can.
I don't know if you guys know me, but I started a golf channel as well, and I'm trying to collide the both worlds together. And I've also seen other golfers include mukbang while they're golfing. So that's like one future, plan for me. But I can see any world colliding with
Well,
food.
it's exactly like what we just talked about with the animated mukbangs, right? It's fusions of content now. Now that mukbang is established as a format and just something that people understand exists in the world of entertainment, now what do you have next? Well, you fuse it together with other forms of content. You fuse it with animation. You fuse it with sports. You fuse it with drama in a lot of ways, right? So how do you take what is this fundamental baseline of content and how do you evolve it and kind of twist it out and mix it up?
One thing that I love about YouTube is that you see something like mukbang become a rocket ship, and you don't necessarily have to start doing mukbang content yourself, but you should learn why and understand the appeal. And so for us, eating creates a very intimate connection. Also, I think there's this idea of wish fulfillment in mukbang, tea specifically. When I watch that giant, that's like several $100s worth of king crab, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, God, I wish I was there eating this perfectly shelled king crab. Ditto with this interview format, right? Where we're sitting there eating 6 different tacos on one plate. And so I think insofar as the term mainstream even exists anymore, I think we're just seeing that psychology of what made mukbang so successful. I think we're going to see that incorporated into pretty much everything and learning those lessons.
Well, including what we're about to do right now, which is a game show format. So to round things out here at the end of the day, we're fusing mukbang with game show. I'm going to play you a couple of sounds, and it is your goal to identify what food is being eaten. All right? Name of the game right now is What Are They Eating? Everyone in the audience, you're going to play along as well. You guys at the tables, you're going to play. All right, so first you listen, then I'm going to have you all vote. Ready? So play sound number 1, my friends. Okay. Is this person eating sashimi, steak frite, or noodles? Shout out if you think it's sashimi. No. Steak frite? Noodles?
Yeah!
Reveal the answer, my friends. It is, in fact.
I knew that was me. I was like,
you
is
can
that
recognize
me?
your own eating sounds.
Yeah.
That's-
Incredible technique, Yoni. Incredible technique, by the way.
I think that really brings it together. Round number 2. Let's play that second sound if we can. Okay, so is this person eating king crab, shrimp cocktail, or tacos? Who do you think? Is it king crab? Shout out. Is it shrimp cocktail? Tacos? Reveal the answer. Tiff, does that one, you're like, oh, I hear that. I recognize that one. All right, one last round, my friends. Let's play sound number 3. I'm hearing a lot of oohs from the front of the audience being like, ooh. All right, is this corn on the cob, octopus, or fried rice? Anyone who thinks corn on the cob, shout out. Not many, a couple people right there in the middle. Octopus. Overwhelming for the octopus. Fried rice. Okay, couple real strong opinion right there in the middle. Let's reveal the answer.
Oh, yes!
Did you recognize that one yourself?
I did not.
Yeah, that was a hard one, right?
That was hard.
So just to round things out right now, I would say that this was a real feast in a variety of ways. Also, let's thank our guests here today for not just having fun with us, but for also helping to popularize one of the most innovative, interesting, and unusual sensory stimulations on YouTube. Mukbang creators have been redefining what mainstream content looks like. They've been able to tap into every single one of our human senses. You guys, with your food content, have been able to reshape the game here on YouTube. So everyone, please give it up for our guests. Tiffany from Eat Spicy with Tea, Hune Eats, and Josh from Mythical Kitchen. And also, give it up for you guys for being a part of that giant crunch sound effect, my friends. Thank you all for listening at home as well. I've been MatPat, and until the next time I decide to come out of retirement, this has been Like and Describe. See you later.
I love you guys.
Thanks for being here.
You can find out more about Like and Describe at yt.be/likedescribe. That's yt.be/likedescribe. You can find links to all of the creators and videos that we referenced today in the episode's description. Like and Describe is produced by Joe Sabia, Greg Gordon, Sam Weiser, Grace Lawson, Ali Schwartz-Balbus, Jake Wright, Ernest Petty, and Maddie Buxton. Video editing by Karen Rivas. Graphics by Louis Hamway. I'll see you next time.